Shall we get started? Are you ready? Thank you so much for being here in this early time in the morning. My name is Michiel van der Veen, and I will do this presentation together with Eddie Boot, who I'll introduce later. And in this presentation, I want to fast forward, let's say, 10 years from now. And just imagine a world where we are digitally connected, much more than now, where we depend heavily on digital technology, and where criminal organizations and state actors pose more threats on us. And just imagine yourself the question from your perspective, where you are working in your business. Are we doing enough today on cybersecurity? So the question, if we keep on doing what we are doing today on cybersecurity, will that be sufficient in 10 years from now? I think the answer is no, it will not. It's a rat race, so we will have to change our position in cybersecurity. And that's exactly what we will address in this presentation. So we will address an important aspect where we think we need to transition in order to be better able to enable a secure digital society in, let's say, 10 years from now. And if you're not interested to staying the whole presentation, there are three key messages that I want to convey. One is that we need to shift our focus from security as an let's say an afterthought towards security integration in products from the outset. So the cybersecurity by design transition. The second message is that this transition, although it brings a lot of benefits, is very hard. It doesn't come by itself. So we will address that. And the third question is, and that's what Eddie will present, is that we need to build an innovation agenda to support the industry in bridging this transition. And that's also how we organize this presentation. Let's see if I can make this work. So we have two parts. I will speak on the cybersecurity transition, so the transition towards integrating cybersecurity from the outset, or cybersecurity by design, and Eddie will take over and talk about the action agenda which is associated with that. Now, before we start, I would like to highlight the challenges and the world that we're living in today. I guess this is not new in the audience here, but nevertheless, I think it's important to emphasize it. So we're living in a world where cybersecurity is on the political agenda. It's actually a political instrument at the moment. We see the rising threats from state actors, criminal organizations, trying to undermine our infrastructures, trying to steal data, and so on. We also see that adversaries have much more financial resources and very advanced tools to attack us and undermine our systems. Also, we see that at the same time we rely more and more on digital infrastructures and also on digital monocultures. So the dependence on a very few, let's say, big tech companies on our way of working. So if something goes wrong there, something really goes wrong. We're also aware that there is a shortage of skilled professionals that can address this topic. And we also see that there's an increasing dependency on third countries, let's say non-EU in this context, on providing solutions that can help us in this cybersecurity transition. And also in the changing geopolitical landscape, I guess that is also a very important topic to consider. Now, if you now look at the situation today from a governmental perspective, then I think it's fair to say, at least that's my personal claim, that we see a patchwork of policies. So on the right-hand side, I listed a few policy frameworks and action agenda from the different governments, and you see The different ministries have different agendas, and each of these agendas have the cybersecurity topic in itself, and the ministries approach that from their own personal perspective, from the perspective of national security, from the perspective of defense, from the perspective of economic growth, and all of these perspectives are important. But if you then ask, is there a coherent national strategy on cybersecurity, I would claim no, there's not. And for me, there are two observations. One is that today the focus very much is on NIS2, so on cyber resilience, rightfully so, by the way. It's a very important topic. Targeting, and the second observation is with that we are targeting, let's say, organizations managing complex IT infrastructures, and also targeting the cybersecurity industry that can help these organizations. There is much less attention to the industry on the right bottom side that are producing digital products, so the manufacturing industry. And that's a much bigger industry than the cybersecurity industry. There are a lot of industries in the Netherlands that produce digital products, and under the CRA, these industries are obliged to secure their digital products from the outset. But this is really this is still in its infancy, so it's a green field, and a lot of work has to be done. And that is strange because this has a lot of benefits for the industry. And that is what I try to illustrate here. So just imagine that you are a company producing digital products, a car, an MRI scanner, a high-tech equipment, name it. So you're producing that, and imagine you're able to produce this product, this digital product, in a way that from the outset it is secure, and while it's being deployed, it is being kept secure for the whole life cycle. Then the result of that, there will be much more trust in this product. The cost of operating this product will be lower because you will be less susceptible to attacks. You will have a faster time to market. And also you're building up a brand which is much more trustworthy. So basically you could say, if you take this perspective, then you can change cybersecurity as a unique selling point for your product, improve your earnings, and also improve as a whole the earning power of the Netherlands. So you could say, well, then cybersecurity can become an export product rather than something you buy as an afterthought to protect your IT infrastructure. And that's exactly the transition that we're talking about. Now this is hard, and this is hard for a number of reasons, which I will address. And one of the reasons, I think, is the existing funding structure. And that's what I try to present here. So today, I would guess, and this is not hard science, this is based on reading all kinds of stuff. I would say that about 90% of the investments in cybersecurity, they go to building cyber resilience. So cyber as an afterthought, which is very important. So don't stop it. Also, about 10% of the investments go to industry that are actually building digital products and helping them in transitioning towards making these products cyber secure. Now, interesting enough that the market size of this is by far larger than this. So we are investing in a market which is important but relatively small versus a market which is under-addressed, which is relatively large. If you look at the outcome of this structure, then you see that what we achieve with this is obviously we contribute to a better digital society because we are trying to improve the cybersecurity of the IT infrastructures of company. But do we really invest in building capabilities in the Netherlands or in Europe that will strengthen our strategic autonomy? I would claim no. And are we investing in companies that can increase their earning power is also very marginal. And so if we maintain this funding structure, let's say over the next 10 years, then this is what will happen in the world, and that means that we will be lagging behind in the race in cybersecurity. There is an alternative path, and that is what I sketched here. And just imagine that as a society, and I guess the government has a key role there to play in providing this impulse. I just imagine we have, in the coming 10 years, we will accelerate the investments in the industry trying to build cybersecure products. So we're addressing this large market and we're helping them building these products. Then obviously we still are working towards a secure digital society, but not only as an afterthought, but also from the outset. And so the more you invest upfront, the more you save afterwards. But at the same time, we stimulate the industry to build capabilities, to build products that make their products cyber secure. So we become less dependent on third countries if we do that wisely. And we make sure that these companies have more trustworthy products, which increase their earning power. And so by changing this mindset, we have a much more holistic, a much stronger foundation for the future. Now, this is from an investment perspective, let's say from a policy perspective, is very important. You could also take this from an industry perspective. I mean, if this is really so valuable for an industry, why don't we start today? Why as an ASML or a VDL or a DAF or an NXP, why don't they start today with this transition? And that's because there's a market failure. So this transition doesn't come by itself. First of all, there's little experience at the moment in building and designing and building these products in a secure way. Also, the tools and techniques that are needed to develop these products in such a way, they are not existing or not mature enough, let's say. Again, the shortage of skilled professionals who should do that. And these are not necessarily cyber security professionals, but also system engineers which are trained to develop products in a cyber secure way. And there's an uneven playing field, meaning that the whole industry has to work together, because if one single company steps up to invest in this, their product will become more expensive, their time to market will be longer, and he will be out of competition. So one single company cannot do this alone. And so we have to work on an even level playing field to make sure that this transition is being helped. This means that we have to collaborate between the different stakeholders in the ecosystem. We have to collaborate between the industry, between the government and the knowledge institutes. Eddie will tell more about the boundary conditions, why this is needed. But I would just want to give an example of where we are working on at the moment and where we're trying to address the market failure which is there. And this is in the Brainport region, where we are setting up a Brabant House of Cyber, which is a PPS in preparation. And we are focusing on the high-tech and the defense industry, which is very strong in that region. And if we talk to the industry, and this initiative, by the way, is initiated by the provincie Noord-Brabant, so the local government, the Brabant Investment Company, TNO, ASML, and Brainport Eindhoven. And if we talk to the industry, then they recognize two important problems. And one is there's a short-term challenge in making sure that all the companies in the entire supply chain become cyber resilient, so less susceptible to attacks from China and Russia, in particular relevant for the high-value sectors as the high-tech and the defense. And for the long term, they're very much interested in maintaining their strength in the region, so investing in cybersecure products that they are producing and bringing to the market. So the ambitions that we have is to work, let's say, to bring together these short-term and long-term goals. And with that, we hope to aim that the entire ecosystem in the area for the high-tech and defense industry is more robust, to cyber threats. And for the longer time that we assure that we have a strong earning power. And also because we challenge and stimulate those companies to build capabilities and build technologies that help their help in designing secure products, we also build up capabilities, and it means a less dependency on third countries. And so that it will be the impact of that. We are now at the phase where we have a position paper. The goal is to sign a letter of intent in the first quarter of 2025 with the companies here and also with the different ministries. So we're working on that. I can imagine that you're also interested. So if you're interested, feel free to contact me and we can discuss what's going on there and how you can participate in this initiative. Now with that, I want to hand over to Eddie. And Eddie will, where I talked about the transition, Eddie will talk about the agenda that is needed to support the industry.
Yep. Well, thank you, Michiel. I think Michiel talked about a certain a dream that we have, a sustainable, secure, by design environment that we would reach in 5 to 10 years, ideally. So you can consider this as a moonshot. Michiel also talked about one of the regional initiatives, the House of Cyber in Brabant. And I'm going to talk about how to translate that on a national level. My name is Eddie Boot. I'm the director of Decipher. Decipher is the national platform for cybersecurity innovation. So we try to connect research, industry and government to work together to big moonshots like cybersecurity by design. So we work first by setting up an agenda. An agenda should provide a development path for all parties involved to get to the moon, so to say. So conditions for an agenda would of course be budget. To implement cybersecurity by design really requires massive amounts of research and development and implementation, supported by the government. Michiel also pointed out there are a lot of policies in the Netherlands government that should be more integrated towards this ambition, and we should stimulate the collaboration of all parties involved on an effective and efficient manner. So an agenda certainly can take many forms. At least 4 components are always necessary. First, the focus on what kind of innovation do you have to do. 2 would be what moonshot do you want to reach? What kind of cybersecurity by design products and services are required in the end? The triple helix collaboration relates to the collaboration of research, government and industry. And finally, also mentioned by Michiel and also known of course by you, obviously, we have a shortage on cybersecurity professionals in the Netherlands, even I think Europe and worldwide, it's safe to say. In order to reach this is a very important requirement that we get well-trained professionals that can support the transition towards cybersecurity by design. So there's an agenda part in there as well. So where do we start? Can we make, as the Netherlands, as a relatively small country, can we make really a stand on cybersecurity by design? Do we make a difference with regard to big tech, America, Israel, and so on, and other competitors that are also taking the same aim? I think we can. We have some strong points listed here. Also presented, I think, and demonstrated today as a lot of vendors and other parties are involved here, showing quite some good showcases, particularly considering that we are a small country compared to the big tech outside. But we also have some challenges. And I think the focus on cybersecurity by design, Michiel started this presentation on, well, where should we stand in 10 years? What would be your dream or moonshot, so to say? I think nobody, and even here, will deny that this is a desirable future. But in practice, we're busy with putting out the fires of today. the hack or the incident of this week is always on our radar, and a lot of effort goes towards the daily business. The cybersecurity industry mainly acts as a digital fire services, so to say. So we even innovation is directed at upgrading your SOC or devising a new pen service method, and so on and so on. This is really a paradigm change, and I think we should create awareness in all sectors, in research, industry and government, that if we want to be safe in 10 years, we should start now by security by design. And it takes other steps next to putting out the fires of today. So the alignment between research, innovation, funding and policies should be improved. And an agenda serves that purpose. An agenda is nothing more than a certain roadmap that provides a clear path for all involved from A to B. The conditions for such an agenda is that we should foster strong collaboration. And how do you do that? Well, there should be something in for everybody. Research should get the right kind of funding to provide the ideas. Applied research should translate that to a healthy startup scene. The cybersecurity industry should pick up what they are doing and translate that to product and market share. And the end users, the industry in the Netherlands, but as well the government, should use their buying power to stimulate the innovative side of cybersecurity by design. Well, we as Decipher are setting up this agenda, and we try to stimulate the collaboration from all parties. For example, we have at least 5 key initiatives going on right now. We set up with fundamental research, so basically in the low TRL levels, a national research agenda, which also focuses on cybersecurity by design. Together with the top sectors, we devise currently an action agenda on cybersecurity. So the next couple of months, we will set up a large public-private program that will also focus on cybersecurity and which has a significant volume. We have built, together with some other parties, a funding portal that's more practical. It's available now. It's on our website. And it provides cybersecurity industry, startups and researchers with practically funding for the short time, but with the long term in mind. We also put out calls. We have, for example, now 2 calls directed at the short and medium enterprises in the Netherlands, the SMEs, in which we have set aside 3 million euros, which are practically given to small cybersecurity industry companies to provide proof of concepts, innovative products that the governance eventually could need. And after this program, the government is stimulated to buy and help further the development of those proof of concepts. So that's practical. It's not so much only a research point of view that we are stimulating, but also the cyber industry as well, with practical calls. And finally, with regard to the shortage of cybersecurity professionals, we are setting up a human capital action plan, which has some stimulus and some budget to provide more qualified cybersecurity personnel in the Netherlands. Well, if you want to find out, because an agenda sounds quite abstract, these steps are more concrete, and if you want to find out what they are about, or if you want to join, here are some entry points to a national research agenda. I just mentioned the action agenda we are just setting up. The funding portal is on our website, and if you want more about a vital part of cybersecurity by design, which we didn't talk much about today, but obviously will be autonomous systems in creating cybersecurity by design, but also keeping it secure during the whole life cycle. There's recently has been published a TNO report which deals with that topic as well. So please indeed take a picture if you want to have the exact addresses, but at info@decipher.nl you can get all the information if you ask us the questions there. So this is for now. Are there any questions in the time that we have remaining? Yes. I will repeat the question. Yes, that's a good question. He asked, do we have any ideas how to get more qualified people in the Netherlands working in the cybersecurity industry and research and government? That's a good question. We have an action plan, which is also on our website, which devises 12 points. And that's an abstract answer, I realize. But the main focus will be, in the first stage, is to make the cybersecurity domain or field attractive to ICT people in general, because there's also ICT personnel. There are shortages, but there are way more ICT people with general ICT knowledge or even specialized, which are not working currently yet in cybersecurity, but are dealing with cybersecurity issues, particularly with relation to cybersecurity by design, which really needs a redesign of the whole software development process. ICT personnel should address cybersecurity issues also early in the development stage, but also they should be able or enabled to do that. So that's one of the action points, is that we should enter cybersecurity in the curricula of all ICT studies in the Netherlands, basically. That's a pretty practical point. So there are many more other points with regard to also reschooling of people involved in other technical businesses as well. There's a big potential, I think, in the industry, where there are a lot of engineers that could be also qualified as cybersecurity professional, and which are now doing other kind of software or hardware engineering issues. There's also the gender issue. I mean, there's a lot of undiscovered potential with regard to women in cybersecurity. So there are rather some nice initiative on that, but I would like to see more women also today here. So these are more practical points, but the whole agenda is published on our website. So if you search for human capital agenda cybersecurity, you will get some results on that. So thank you for the question. Other questions? No, for now. If you have any more questions, there is a Decipher booth at the the left side of the conference. You can contact us anytime if you want to have more questions. And for now, I thank you for your attention and on towards a cybersecure, safe future. Thank you.